Perfume A day for a whole year. We're still going at it. I don't know how I haven't like dropped this already. The last couple of days, again, were just kind of busy. I did not get the chance to actually sit down and film the spray and the try-on of each fragrance that I chose, but I do remember everything that I wore the last 3 days, so we can do a little catch-up. And just to refresh my memory, I did just give myself an additional spritz in various pulse points of my body, so I can still talk about the experience. On the 24th, that was a Wednesday, what did I wear? I wore Kenzo Amour. I have a pink bottle. It was given to me by a friend. She said she didn't like it. I don't know. It's a floral amber vanilla. The top notes are rice and white tea. Middle notes are frangipani, cherry blossom, heliotrope. Base notes are vanilla, incense, musk, and Tanaka wood. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yeah, it does have a very soft, mild, starchy kind of sweetness. It really does actually smell a little bit like sweet rice or sticky rice. But I think it can also border a little bit on like sawdust, a little bit sawdusty. Frangipani is a note that I'm usually pretty sensitive to, not in a bad way. It's just like I can usually pick out frangipani from a fragrance, and in this one I don't. I do get a little bit of the cherry blossom just because it's giving me that little nostalgic moment of like there's like a Bath and Body Works fragrance or spray or a lotion years ago that was cherry blossom, and I vaguely remember how that smells, and it's kind of bringing that back for me. And I don't know if it's the rice, but I'm getting a salt from somewhere, and it's a little bit Play-Doh-y. But other than that, it's fine. I really don't smell the incense that much. I'm usually very sensitive to smoky notes. And I don't even really notice it that much in the dry down. Like, despite all these notes and despite a very floral heart, it stays kind of linear to me. There's really no moment where it's like, wow, I smell the flowers. It pretty much kind of stays the same. So that was Wednesday, January 24th. Yesterday, what was yesterday? Thursday, January 25th, I wore 2 different fragrances. In the morning, we finally broke our sub-freezing temperatures. We finally got above freezing and unusually warm. We got hit with like a weird week of like 45 degree, 55 degrees today. So yesterday was a weird day because we had been seeing snow everywhere, everything white. And then yesterday you wake up and most of it has melted. We also got a lot of rain to like wash it away. So I'm seeing like green, like this, bright green grass right next to this white snow. And it's very strange. And it was reminding me of some reviews that I saw about a fragrance. And this is not a wintertime cold weather fragrance. But also yesterday was not super cold wintry weather. It was like 45-ish. So it was like almost, the thawing of winter turning into spring kind of feeling. And it reminded me of the reviews that I saw on Amazon Lily by Nest. And it looked interesting to me. I'm not a big citrus fan, and this does seem to be predominantly, it is predominantly citrus. And I'm not a citrus fan, so I did not want to commit to a whole bottle, but I do have 2 little samples, and I decided to give it a try. Top notes of tangerine, bergamot, lime. Middle note is just lily. Base notes, driftwood, and white musk. And yes, it is very citrusy for a long time. And in my experience, it performs a little bit different on skin than on clothes. And this is from Botticia. They go on to say, this is a swamp fragrance for swamp people. This scent conjures a vivid scent memory. It is the smell of a swamp coming to life again after the winter. The snow and ice are melting, but pockets of snow still remain in the deepest shadows. Here and there are clusters of crocuses and shoots of grass. Some of the trees are growing leaves and there's mud everywhere. It's loamy and living, green in the way algae is green. This is a New England swamp in early spring. It does not smell tropical to me. Amazon Lily is a winter and clearly spring fragrance for me. In the summer or with too much humidity, the loamy green heart of it goes fetid. Fetid? I really don't know that word. That's a good vocabulary word. So many people assume that light citrus scents are warm weather fragrances only, but I've discovered that my personal chemistry seems to curdle when I wear strong citrus in the heat. I feel the exact same way about citrus on most people, including myself. I just think citrus turns like hot garbage, like sour garbage. You know, there are only a few people that I really think smell good with a citrus forward fragrance. A lot of reviews seemed to get that rotting note, so I would recommend trying this fragrance in the cool weather. It might surprise you. That's it. I remember reading this review a long time ago, and that's how I felt when I was looking outside yesterday, and I was like, I know just the fragrance. But knowing it was very strong, very citrusy, very weird, very not people-pleasy, I only sprayed a small amount on my wrists. And by the time I had to leave to go to work, it had already washed off. But I did want to spray a little something before going to work, just so I could, sometimes it's really for my own sake, just to give myself something to smell, because on Thursdays, that's the day I teach little children. And let me tell you, these kids, they're in the like 6 to 8, 6 to 9-year-old age range, but some of them are just hitting puberty way earlier than others. So like some of these kids already have stanky body odor. Like they smell like armpit and they don't know what deodorant is yet. Or like their feet smell, or they just fart all the time. Like, you know, kids are gross. So like sometimes I'll spray myself just for my own sake so I can get whiffs of myself and not be breathing in little kid farts all day. Oh, I also think I stepped in spit yesterday. I sprayed, it's called Greg Lauren. Barney's and Greg Lauren. I just have a tiny sample of this. I don't even really remember where I got it. Probably like a swap or a friend gave it to me. Vanilla, aromatic, marine, sweet, and amber. The only notes are tonka bean, vanilla, and sea notes. So I guess a little bit salty. But when I sprayed it, I found it to be kind of woody and powdery. And it is kind of dry, and I don't get salt, despite the C notes. Believe it or not, Kenzo Amour is saltier than this Greg Lauren Barney's fragrance. All in all, it was just a really nice, sophisticated, dry vanilla. So even though I was teaching and sweating and around like gross little kids, it did help me like feel a little bit refreshed. So it's a nice fragrance. Do I want a full bottle? No. I decided that I really got to go through my little tiny dabber vials from Micro Perfumes because I have so many of them, and those are the things that are taking up the most space on my shelves. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to try to go for those little weenie dabber samples that I have. Today, however, on Friday the 26th, we had some really nice warm weather, 55, almost 60. Weird. We should not be getting these temperatures here in January. But I don't know, all it takes is a drop of warm weather for me to feel like I can go out on the town because I sprayed Miss Dior today, the 2021 formula. So that's the vanilla rosy powdery one. Top notes iris, peony, lily of the valley, middle notes apricot, rose, peach. Base notes vanilla musk, tonka bean, benzoin, and sandalwood. To me, it just smells like a powdery, sweet, edible rose cookie. That's what it smells like to me. I know it's not really meant to be a gourmand, but it's a really sweet, sugary rose. Like, it just reminds me of like a really, really fancy rose floral cookie that you would get at like a really fancy tea shop. It's really considered an amber floral, but I would almost say it's like a vanilla amber. The vanilla and the sweetness is very strong. So that's that. I caught up on the 24th, 25th, 26th. I think I'll film one more tomorrow before editing. And like I said, I'm going to start trying to use up my little vials because I have so many of them. Where am I looking? That's not the camera. That's the camera. Howdy, y'all. Today is January 27th, a Saturday. And as I said, I was going to start using my little weeny micro perfume samples. It's just like a little dabber. So today I wore Eilish, the Billie Eilish perfume. It's weird. I had a very different experience with it today than I have in the past. In the past, I could swear I didn't smell the red berries or the mandarin orange, which are the top notes in addition to sugar. Middle notes are vanilla, cacao, spicy notes, and rose. Anytime I applied this in the past, I just smelled like a sugary vanilla smell, a sweet smell. It wasn't really woody or spicy or chocolatey. I wasn't getting any of those deep, warmer notes. Maybe a little bit, but it was never complex to me. But today when I wore it, and granted, I did apply a lot more today than I did in the past. I was really trying to use up the whole thing, so I really just kind of let it pour on me a little bit more than just dab. And I actually got really sugary berries for a while. It almost reminded me of pink sugar berry blast, or what I imagine the red velvet flanker would smell like. I don't have it, but it's kind of what I would imagine this smells like. But I still never got the cacao or the spicy notes. Didn't really get anything woody or deep or warm. Maybe the tonka bean a little bit, maybe a little bit ambery, but it was just sweet and pleasant, and then nothing. And maybe I'll do one more tomorrow before I edit and post this whole thing. So we'll see what little tiny micro perfume sample I choose tomorrow. Okay, bye.